Hey everybody, and welcome to the Get Speaking English Coffee and Crossword stream. My name is Axel, and while we wait for the stream to begin, let me quickly explain how this activity works and give you some information that will help you do it. So, during the stream, we will go through a crossword similar to the one you see on the screen right now. I'm going to guide the conversation by letting you know which question will work on when. I'm going to explain the question to you, maybe give you some definitions, and then I'm going to give you additional clues, other information, hints, maybe some images to help you figure out the answer with me. So, when you think you know an answer, go ahead and put it in the chat. You'll be able to participate on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. The addresses are all available on the screen. So don't be shy if you think you know an answer. Put it in the chat, and when I see a correct answer, I will add it on the board and we will fill out the crossword together that way. So before we begin though, there are a few important rules that you should know specifically about this stream so we could all have a good time. So my first major rule is no cheating. So don't use the internet unless I tell you to. So we could Google the answers if we want or use websites. We're not going to do that though. We're going to work together instead. So please do not use the internet unless I tell you to do so. Secondly, please follow the conversation. So for example, if we are talking about question number 3, don't start talking about question 19. Also, too, please be patient. We may take some detours along the way. I love to talk about additional vocabulary, phrases, other things that are related to what's in the crossword. So just please be patient. Try to stay with the group and don't ruin it for others. Finally, please be nice to one another. Like I said, you'll be able to participate on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. But let's create a nice, friendly learning environment where people feel like they can participate without judgment and have a good time. So those are my main rules for playing this game. Now I'm going to give you some additional information specifically about this crossword to help you complete it. So the first useful thing to know is that this is an American crossword. So that means that American spelling and vocabulary is going to be used. So you can see on the screen right now some differences between American and British spelling. There are many others. This is just a small sample of some of the differences. There are also differences in the choice of vocabulary, in some of the phrases, some of the slang is different. So usually this crossword uses American English. It's also worth knowing that any of the trivia is usually about the United States, so about American history, American geography. However, we won't need to know much trivia. Thankfully, the majority of the questions in this crossword are about language, they're about English, so we won't need to know a lot about trivia. It's also really helpful to know that the answers match the questions. So the answers will always use the same type of word and the same word form as the word in the question. So for example, if there is a plural in the question, there will be a plural in the answer. If there's an abbreviation in the question, there will be an abbreviation in the answer. So all of that is extremely helpful. Sometimes you will see me put little S's or EDs in places, and that's just good information for us to know to fill out the board faster. Keep that in mind too when you are answering, that your answer should always use the same type of word and the same word form as the question. Also, multiple word answers are okay in this crossword. So sometimes the answer could be a phrasal verb, maybe part of a common phrase or an idiom, part of a sentence. Some of the longer ones are titles of books, titles of movies. This crossword does not indicate when something is a multiple word answer. However, I am usually quick to spot them. I will let you know if something is a multiple word answer, but do keep in mind when you are thinking about the answers to the questions that multiple word answers are possible. Finally, too, because we are here to review English, we're here to learn new words and vocabulary as well. It's important to know that there are words in this crossword that we can't really use in real life. So some of the words are just archaic, they're outdated, they're old-fashioned. Some of them are very formal or used only in very specific contexts. I will try to let you know if you can't use something, and I'll try to give you an alternative expression instead. I'll also let you know when you could use something in a specific context, but do keep that in mind that there are words in this crossword that even I, as a native English speaker, would never use in real life during a conversation. Anyway, so that's it. Like I said, don't be shy. Go ahead, jump in. The more you participate, the faster this crossword will go. So I do appreciate your help. Also, don't hesitate to ask questions about any of the words we talk about or any of the phrases we discuss. I always love having a good language discussion. So put your questions in the chat. I will try to address them. Finally, if you enjoy this activity, please give this video a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing to the channel or following my Facebook page so you don't miss any future streams. Also, please tell other people about this stream. The more people we can get out, the better. It grows the community, and it will let me host even more free live streams, free events, and other additional affordable group activities for English learners. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you being here, and I love when you participate. And get ready because we are going to start soon. Test, test, test. There we go. I was like, oh no, there's no audio. But it was an easy fix. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. My name is Axel from Get Speaking English. We're doing a crossword today. And I don't have a lot of time. Hello, Jacqueline. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yes. So feel free to say hello in the chat. Let me know you're alive. I can see the chat for Facebook and YouTube right now. YouTube is the best place to play, by the way. It seems that the delay is a little less on Facebook, or sorry, on YouTube. So if you're interested in playing, be sure to hop over on YouTube. You'll be able to participate there. Just like the little video said, we're going to work through this crossword together. I'm going to give you a lot of little additional, I can explain I'm going to say which question we're working on when I'm going to explain the question to you, give you some additional information to help you figure out the answer right along with me. And then if you think you know what an answer is, put it in the chat. And then when I see the answers, I will put them in the crossword and we will complete everything together. Very hot today, 30 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that is actually pretty warm. It is not quite that warm here, although it's very early here. And usually it doesn't get 30 degrees here where I live, actually. That would be pretty random. It is 14 degrees here in Canada. Yeah, awesome. So cool to see everybody. Actually, I love warm weather, so 30 degrees for me would be fantastic. I find 14 a little cold for my liking. But anyways, yeah, so let's get right to it. I have an hour and a half. So I have to go, I have to do something. at 11:30 my time. It is currently just after 10. It's like 10:10 my time. So I have roughly 90 minutes. So we're going to try to speed through this as quick as we can. So let's get right to it then, I suppose, because I am just rambling at this point. To ramble just means to talk, go on and on and on. I'm just rambling, but let's get right to it. Things we can wear in the kitchen. So number one, across kitchenware, something that we're going to wear in the kitchen. I think that this is a garment. A garment is a piece of clothing, a garment that you'd wear while cooking to prevent your clothes from getting dirty, like from, you know, all of the spills and splashes and things that happen when you're cooking. You know, you might have like it's almost like a sheet, and you kind of it kind of ties around the waist and it kind of goes over your head. Gloves is definitely something that you might wear. I think apron though is going to be the answer actually. So I'm just grabbing a picture of an apron just so we're all on the same page. Yeah, I'm pretty sure apron though is what we're gonna do. Gloves though, definitely something else we might use as well in the kitchen, but I think we want one of these things. So let's pop that in here. So an apron in the kitchen. And then speaking about kitchens, four down, chef's need. So chef, obviously somebody who cooks in the kitchen, right? Somebody who cooks. And if we're cooking, I mean, there are a number of different things that are very common to find in a kitchen that you would need in order to cook. But I think this is one appliance in general, and a common appliance that you'd find in a kitchen that is used for cooking. It starts with an O. Something. 4 letters. An oven. Exactly. I think oven is our answer here too. And appliance, just so we know, appliance. And appliance is a great word. And those are just basically like the devices. Appliances are devices or machines we use in cooking, basically, often, or for other domestic chores and things as well. So, but like a fridge, the oven, the stove, those are toaster. Yeah, all of those toaster oven. Those are all examples of appliances that we might find in a kitchen. Okay. What else we got here? Try to like see ones that might be easy for us to get. Oh, let's do this one maybe. 14 across. So ready for customers. I think we're talking about like businesses here, for example. So if a business was ready, like say if a business was ready to operate and finally start, I don't know, serving customers, we would say that it is something and that it is something. There is a specific word that we might use that is ready to go, functioning. I mean, in a very literal sense too, we could say, you know, like the doors are, you know, Open, exactly. We say that a business is open if it's finally ready to start serving, start operating, serving companies. Of course, the opposite would be a business would be closed if it is no longer functioning, no longer serving customers. So awesome job. Cool. Tricky one. Tricky, as I'm not sure which one to. Let's do this one. Okay, so an embankment. So a embankment. We can kind of see the word bank in here. I know that usually bank means like it's a place where we would get money, right? So bank is usually a place where you get money, right? But we could also use the word bank to refer to sort of raised edges. Just a second here. Like, like, okay. I don't know, but like kind of like almost like little hills or something. Like a bank can also be used to describe a hill. Is also a hill. Can also be a hill. Okay, so kind of like a little, like a slope, almost like a pile. Okay, so so here this one 12 across. These are kind of like man-made hills that are, or hills or banks that are made to, I think, prevent water from entering a region. Okay, kind of used for almost like usually for, you know, maybe flood waters or something. I mean, yeah, kind of like I mean, here's a very like exaggerated picture of what I mean, kind of, but we can see how this house is surrounded by these banks, these little hills that are preventing the water from flooding into this area, and these are called something kind of specific. So these little hills have a specific name. I feel like they're very common in some places, like the Netherlands, I think. I could be wrong. Or any place that is prone to flooding, you may have them. So here is another example as well. We can see here this little hill is basically preventing water from entering into here. Yeah, so it's different from a dam, right? Because a dam obviously is like almost like a large building, a large constructed thing that blocks water completely. But here, these are kind of things that we would find along the coast that would prevent water from coming in. It starts with an L. I will give you that much. So it starts with an L. So there is an L. So there's an L in here. So interesting word. So we have an L in here. Might be a new word, but these things are called levees. This is a levee, L-E-V-E-E. E. So yeah, so levees will sometimes they will construct. Apparently sometimes they are natural as well. But yeah, they are sort of these like sort of man-made hills used to prevent flooding. All right, so levee. So levee is going to be our bank here. Yeah, tricky. But let's do this one now that we have more information. Let's do 3 down. Income. We're looking for a synonym for income. So income, obviously, income is money that you make, usually off of an activity. Money that you take home, that you bring home. R, something. This is like a finance word for money made off of an activity. Revenue. I think revenue exactly is going to be in here. R-E-V-E-N-U-E. Revenue. So let's put that in here. And now that we have more information, I wonder if we can get this one. Not sure, not completely sure, but to tick off somebody, to tick off someone, this means to do things, to do something to make someone mad. So to tick off someone, that's a very, very informal sort of idiom to make somebody mad. And this word, something, E-V-E, is also a word, or although that means to make angry. Although I would typically use this more maybe in a passive. But you know what? Where I see this word part of as a phrase. A pet, whatever. I see it in this word, or this phrase, a pet something, basically something small that makes you annoyed or angry. So, you know, little things that kind of irk you. For example, maybe people who stand too close to you when you're waiting in line at the supermarket, or maybe people who talk on their phones in public places. Maybe, I don't know, drivers who don't signal, something like that. So something that annoys you here. So peeve, exactly. So peeve, exactly. So a pet peeve, something that makes you annoyed, and to peeve someone, off, I would say, to make someone angry as well. Or I was really peeved. There as a passive, I was really angry. So that's how I would use that. So P-E-E-V-E, awesome. I was so peeved. I was so angry. There we go. Okay. Yes. Okay. What else do we got here? Yeah, let's do this one maybe. Eyes in slang. 2 down, eyes in slang. So slang, informal, right? P-E-E-P, something. So eyes. Things we used to look at, things with, or whatever. Yeah, just kind of another way we might refer to eyes. We can see here that the root word peep is in here, to peep at something. Kind of always like to take a peek at something, to secretly look at something, basically. That means, like, yeah, to secretly look at something for a very short period of time. You might hear the word peephole, you know, the little hole on a door that lets you see outside, like who's in the hallway. And then, yeah, so we could take this, and then this is basically a variation of this word here that we would then use to refer to eyes, if you have an idea. Maybe even a guess, because it's kind of a little bit of a tricky one, I feel. Yeah, so funny little word. There is an S in here, so I'm gonna put an S here. So any guesses? Let me know if you have a guess. Dun, dun, dun. But basically we basically just need to like a suffix here, maybe, like to turn this into a noun. So yeah, so we're just, yeah, we were looking for a sort of a common suffix, let's say. Basically just turn a verb into a noun, something that would do something. So I'll give it a couple more seconds if you have happen to have a guess even. Dun, dun, dun. So this is going to be peepers. Peepers, very informal way to refer to eyes. Peepers. Yeah. So I'll put this in a sentence. So she flashes her big dark peepers at me. She flashes her big dark eyes at me, basically. Yeah, so just kind of a funny way to refer to eyes. But let's do this one. Fellows, 16 across. Fellows. So a fellow is a man or a person, basically. Usually a man, usually a male. Yeah, well, a man is a male, obviously. So I think just looking for, I mean, obviously, fellows is a plural, so we also want a plural in the answer. Men, exactly. I think men is going to be our answer here. So let's put that in here. So we got some men. I have no idea what this is. That's why I'm not doing some of these. That's why I'm kind of skipping over them. This one here, this 5 down, maiden name on a label. Your maiden name. Actually, that's kind of interesting. Your maiden name. If you're a woman, your maiden name is the last name you had before you got married, because typically, like, when people get married, then they will take their husband's name, right? Usually, I know that doesn't happen all the time, but maiden name is your original name that you had, and then on your ID, on your documentation, things like that, they might have it written with an NEE next to it. Okay, it's a French word. I don't even know how to say it. I have no idea, but that's cool. Okay, so let's pop that in here. Self-assurance. Okay, great. I'm just gonna listen really quick how we would say that in English, because I'm not sure. Aplomb. Okay, aplomb. Interesting. Yeah, so yeah, that is a new one for me. I didn't know that one. Aplomb, basically. Confidence and style. Okay. Very cool. Interesting. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, what else can we do here? 22. 22 across. Okay. 22 across. Dispatched. Dispatched. If something is dispatched, ooh, it's gonna be hard to describe this one without actually saying the answer. But I'll tell you, like a dispatcher is the person, is someone who works for, say, like the fire department or, you know, emergency services, who is in charge of telling the crew where to go when there is an incident. So, yeah, so dispatched, a synonym for dispatched is going to be sent. Exactly. Sent. S-E-N-T. They send the crew. They dispatch the crew to go wherever they need to go. Oh, I said sent. There we go, sent. Exactly. So, alrighty. What else here? Company abbreviation. Yeah, I think we can maybe do this one. Company abbreviation. So obviously we have an abbreviation here in our question. So 20 down, company, yeah, ABBR, short for abbreviation. So obviously our answer is also going to be an abbreviation. Very common one that companies may have, especially really large companies. And I'm trying to think exactly. Basically saying that it's like a company or a group of companies that is maybe under control of one organization. Yeah, so common abbreviation that companies may have, it indicates that the company is maybe a company or group of companies is controlled by one organization. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, kind of a very common one. CNY. So CNY, I don't know what a CNY is. So I don't know what that is, but that's okay though. There's like other ones, for example, LTD would be limited. We might see that one a lot. Try to think of some other ones. It starts with an I. I'll put an I in here. There's an I. We're gonna put an I. I'm trying to think of other examples. LTD, like I guess LLC, is that one? I don't know what LLC means. Yeah, I think LLC, but I don't know what that means. Apparently it's limited liability company. Liability company, LTC. No other ones. So it's not gonna be in. Oh, corp, for example, CORP, corporation. Another example. In welcome UP, welcome. It's really great to see you. Lots of great questions, but this abbreviation is going to be INC, Inc. And we pronounce that as Inc. And that is short for, INC is short for incorporated. So a company will be potentially incorporated. So let's put that in here, incorporated. Lots of great guesses though, but yeah, Inc here, we would say Inc. And a couple other examples here as well for you. Okay. What else can we do? I think I'm gonna do this one. I guess we're gonna go up here. Let's go up here. Let's go up here. Let's go, so 6 across. 6 across, bulls and bears. I hope my internet's okay. Sorry if it's not okay. Okay, there we go. Bulls or bears are examples of something kind of in particular. So bulls or bears, bulls and or bears are examples of or are a type of this basically a group that play together, like kind of like a sport. They play a sport, for example. For example, the Chicago Bears. I don't remember what the Bulls are. What do they do? Or where are they from? Chicago Bears, for example. Oh, I guess the Chicago Bulls as well. That's interesting. Oh, isn't that the Bears? Oh, where's the Bears? Okay, anyways, they are examples of a team. They're types of teams, exactly. They're a type of team. Sports team, exactly. Yeah, so let's put that in here. And since we were talking about, so an in, because we had that answer pop up, well, as a sort of a guess. So an inn is definitely an example of a place you may go and stop at for the night while traveling, and you would sleep there. 9 down is another place you might go to, and you would book a room. So a place on the side of the highway, usually. It's a place near the highway. So a place on the side of the highway where you can book a room for the night and rest while you are traveling. So basketball team, the famous Michael Chicago Bulls is a basketball team with the famous Michael Jordan. Yes. Yeah. No, that's right. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was Chicago. They're both Chicago. I just wasn't sure like what was what. I'm not really a sports person. Motel. So, you know, my boyfriend follows hockey and it's playoffs right now, and I guess last night's game was pretty nuts. So, yeah. So, but I don't watch anything. I don't really watch anything. Motel. Mote. Oops. Motel. Exactly. All right. So we got a motel. Where we can stay for the night. And what else we have here? So Usher's Place, Slippery One, Brighton. Okay, maybe let's can we do this one? And then out. Foot features. Let's do this one first, maybe. Foot features. Something that you would find, something that only feet have, basically. Something. These are things you would find on feet, on a foot, basically. Hey, welcome, Sword. It's great to see you. Super welcome. You're the Montreal Canadiens? Yeah. They don't seem to do so well these days. The Oilers, I mean, they're in the playoffs, though. I think it's the Oilers and the Panthers. And last night was pretty super crazy, because I guess they were like losing, and then they like were winning, and then they messed up at the end, and they went to overtime. I don't know. I wasn't watching it. I was just hearing about it. Toes. Toes. We are going to find toes exactly on a foot. That is a feature. A feature is a characteristic. That's something that kind of makes something what it is. Okay. Mount, a slippery one. Yeah, let's do this one. I was kind of, I think we can do this one. 8 down, 8 down. Usher's place. An usher is a person who works at a theater. So either like an actual, like a traditional theater where maybe you would go to see a play, or maybe a movie theater, for example. But these are kind of the person, so it's a person who works at a theater, who helps, patrons. So patrons, people who go to the theater, people who watch things, who help patrons find their seats. And there's kind of a, so yeah, and so there is a particular place because, you know, they're helping people figure out where they're going to sit. There is a place in particular where you would find an usher, kind of those rows between the sections of seats, if that makes sense. So a something, 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 something. So this is the pathway, basically, that goes between sections of seats that where you can walk. Basically, where you can walk to like get where you need to go, basically. So we're looking for a name of that, of like that, the pathway that kind of goes between sections of seats. So hopefully I've explained it well enough. I guess I could get a picture just so we're on the same way. See it, aisle, exactly. The aisle. Actually, this is kind of a funny picture because it has the same pronunciation as aisle as well, which is an island. Aisle. O-E. So both of these words are pronounced as aisle. The S is silent. But yes, the aisle is the row, goes between the seats. And the usher, you will find the usher there. All right, so aisle. We got perfect. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And now that we have more information, let's do 13 across. So 13 across, word for the minimum amount. So the smallest amount of something. I think this is a word that comes up when making comparisons. So 13 across, something, 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 S-T, a word. Usher the singer. Yeah, okay, right. Usher was also a singer. Definitely. For sure. But Usher is also a person that that would work at a theater, helps people. If you could also use usher as a verb as well too. People get ushered to a place, as in they get like directed to a place. Anyways. So this one here, 13 across, something, E, something, 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 a word used when making comparisons that indicates the smallest amount possible. Least, exactly. I think least is going to be our answer here. Least, minimum amount, opposite being most, obviously. So here we go, least, awesome. Great job, UP. Yeah. Gosh, what else? What else could we do? You know, this was in the crossword the other day. I was saying that this was a good one to know, a good one to remember because it comes up often in the crossword. Because we have Brighton. Brighton in this context. So 7 down, Brighton here. To brighten, I mean, to brighten often means to make lighter, right? So to make something lighter, but here we actually mean to brighten as in to make someone happy in this case. So for example, if you might say like to brighten someone's day, basically to make their day better, to make so they become happier, right? So here brighten means to make somebody happy. So we're looking for another word, something, a something, something, that basically means to make happy, and elate, exactly, elate. And just like I was saying, I said this last time, but I'll repeat it because we have some different people here. I would always use this as a passive. So for example, I was elated to see my friend. So I was extremely happy to see my friend. Or for example, I will be elated to meet you later. I will be very happy to meet you later. It will bring me a lot of joy. Yeah, this one was in the last one as well. So this is a crossword word that shows up often. So it's a good one to know. And just an FYI, I would always use this as a passive. So I would use it this way. So you're elated by something. Something made you happy, typically. Yeah, so very cool word to know. Very formal word. It's kind of a nice one. If you want to sound very like formal, you can use elated. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Moving right along. So I have to go in half an hour. So we might not finish this one, but that's okay. Let's see here. I don't know if we're gonna know this one, but bump into. If you bump into something, it means that you kind of hit it, right? You accidentally hit it slightly. Basically, that's what it means, right? We can also bump into somebody just if you meet them randomly on the street, but that is a different thing. But there's another word, something, STLE, which basically means to bump into something and kind of make it shake. I think I got that right. So, or I guess too, yeah, you could just like push against something in order to move past it. So that's interesting. I would think more about like making something shake, but so it's not going to be bustle. This is a verb. And interestingly enough, bustle is not really a verb. We would use it like bustling. Something is bustling as an adjective, but I wouldn't really use bustle as a verb. But this one here kind of means to like bump into somebody, sort of to move them out of the way or whatever. I would think to like make like kind of shake something, cause something to shake, but I'm just checking another dictionary to make sure that I'm not crazy. Let's push somebody. Come into contact with something. Yeah, to kind of agitate something. Yeah, so kind of like to shake it as well. But yeah, kind of to bump into something. So hit it so it moves out of the way, basically. It starts with a J. I'm gonna have a J in this word. This is kind of an interesting one. I was thinking of I was thinking about this of this meaning of this word, the same word, to agitate something, to stir up, to sort of shake up something. That's what I was thinking. But anyways, this word is jostle. Jostle. And the pronunciation I know is like a bit interesting. To jostle. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Jostle. So to jostle. Let's put that in a sentence so we can see. Okay, here we go. So as we came into the arena, we were jostled by fans pushing their way towards the stage. So people were bumping into us and we were kind of moving around because we were getting pushed around. So we were jostled. They were kind of causing us to move around, right? Or here as well to photographers jostled and shoved to get a better view of the royal couple. So they were bumping into each other and they were shoving, they were pushing people out of the way in order to get a better view of the people they wanted to photograph. Anyways, that's how we would use that word. So jostle, bump into something. Interesting word. Let's see here. I don't know if we're gonna know this one. Use as fast as, let's do, I think this might be an easy one. Sinking signal. So a signal, like a sign. So 21 down, a signal, a sign that a ship usually, or maybe a plane as well. Here sink, to sink means to, if you're floating on the water and you go down under the water, you sink. To go under the water from floating, basically. But there is sort of a specific thing you might send out if you need help. Exactly, an SOS. So I need help, SOS. If you were sinking, you would send it an SOS. Exactly. And now let's do this one, I guess, maybe 23 across. Cushy. Cushy. You might not know what cushy is, for example, but you probably know maybe what a cushion is. A cushion, which is kind of like a pillow, right? Sort of these, they're very, they're kind of, it's hard for me to say what it is without giving away this answer. But, they're kind of like filled with a lot of, I don't think my internet's that great. But they're kind of like filled with, I think my internet needs an SOS right now. Actually, just a second. Okay, I just, I changed my internet thing. I think I'm back. Maybe I'm back. Possibly. Anyways. Soft, exactly. 23 across, it's gonna be soft. Exactly, something, because pillows are soft, right? They're very soft, S-O-F-T. So something that is cushy. Something that is very soft, we could also describe as being very, very cushy. In particular, if it has like, if it's filled with a lot of like padding and stuff like that. So like cushions they're filled and they're very soft that way. So we wouldn't use cushy to refer to maybe fur or something that also has a soft texture. But yeah, so awesome. Great job. What else can we do here? Side and prop. kind of want to follower, suffix, purpose. Sticky stuff. This is a tricky one. Let's do... I know what this is. I just don't know how to describe it. Sticky stuff. Something that is sticky. Because I know there's lots of things that are really sticky. Something that is sticky, it's kind of like glue or something, where it almost wants to adhere to you. It wants to like stick to you. But we kind of have this very general word. This very general, kind of informal word. This is a very informal word. You play with the emojis? Yeah, I see them. It's kind of funny. That describes a unpleasant, sticky substance. So, very informal, very informal word. It's very it's not specific. It is not a specific word whatsoever. Gosh, I don't even know if I can see a picture. I mean, like, yeah, it's very very sticky substance. I guess maybe I'll help. There's a G in this word. There's a G in this word. Because I'm seeing kind of like things that I might describe as that. Like here, for example, you know, like this is technically slime or whatever. Goo, like my friend was the other day, my friend said this. Goo, yeah, goo, exactly. Just a very general catch-all word for anything that is really sticky, really kind of gross. Like this, for example, or especially if you don't know exactly what something is, right? But glue also kind of has that consistency before it dries. It's kind of like this sort of like gross kind of sort of substance or whatever, you know. Anyways, goo, exactly. So let's put that in here. And I don't know if we're gonna know this one. 11 down. Goes as fast as one can. This is definitely an idiom. It's an idiom. 11 down. Yeah, 11 down. Something L-O-O. Something S. So goes as fast as one can. Something. An idiom, idiomatic expression that you'd use while driving, actually, to say you that means to go as fast as you can. So this is an idiom that we would use while driving in particular. So yeah, I don't know if we're gonna know this one. I would hear this sometimes in action movies or something, when they're like, they get in the car and they're like, oh, they need to speed away really quickly, and they're like, they'll be like they'll say this, which means to like drive away as fast as possible. It does start with an F. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 11 across is folio. Yeah, folio, which is not a common word, which was why I wasn't really focusing on it, but it does start with an F. Floors it, exactly. Thanks, Jess, welcome, and thank you for that. Floors it. Yeah, so if you floor it, that means that well, I'll tell you what the it stands for. So if you floor it, you go really fast. And what are we talking about? We're talking about the pedal. We're talking about the accelerator on the car, because you would press it to the floor to make the car go extremely fast. So that's where that phrase comes from. So we're going to press on the accelerator so we can go as fast as possible in the car. So you floor it, you go really fast. As you press the gas pedal to the floor. So that's where that comes from. You floor it. Anyways, yeah, awesome. So what else do we got here? So purpose, and then followers, suffix. Actually, I wonder if we might know this one. Just like a slang. There's so many different ways people might refer to coffee. Not sure if we know this one. This might be a new one, maybe. But J-O something. This is how I hear this. A cup of... This is how I hear the phrase. A cup of, or a cuppa, whatever this is. Cuppa. Whatever this is, a cup of joe. Exactly. A cup of joe is what we would say. Exactly. So joe, it's gonna be our coffee in slang. I gotta get a cup of joe. That's how we would use that. Exactly. Awesome. Okay. 27 down, I guess. Because I don't know. 27 down. Purpose. Purpose. So, like, the meaning of something, I guess, essentially. We're probably talking about a device or a machine or some sort of tool in this context. So right, so basically, you know, what a device or tool or object, it's hard to say it. It's hard to say it without actually using the answer. Aim is a good guess. It's not aim, but definitely like sort of like the meaning or the scope of something. What a device. I gotta see what the dictionary says. See what the dictionary says. Like, yeah, the purpose is, yeah, it's hard to like say it. The purpose for which something is, maybe like does almost or something. Yeah, tricky to explain this without actually using the word. It's a very common word. Super common word. Super common word. You know, like basically what it does exactly, right? Like, if we were talking about like what my phone does, right? Obviously it's for making calls, right? So that is basically, it's whatever this answer is. It starts with a U. Put a U in there. There's a U here. So there is a U here. Kind of like the reason or its purpose. So it's purpose basically. Yeah. Purpose or its aim, as we said. The use, exactly, the use of something. So the purpose is the use of something. And notice too, you know, that the pronunciation is use, right? Because when it is a verb, the pronunciation changes to use with a Z sound, use. So it's kind of interesting. Anyways, yeah, so just to be aware of that one, while you're speaking, the meaning of the word changes with the pronunciation. Oh, what else we got here? Brief drop. I don't know what we're going to do. Traffic mark. Drill part. Dun, dun, dun. Let's do this one. This is a form. So burlesque is kind of like almost like sort of like a it's kind of a bit of a like a racy show where people kind of are scantily like they're not wearing a lot of clothing, like women don't wear a lot of clothing and they dance a lot and things like that. It's like a kind of a show where, you know, women dance in while wearing, I don't know, sexy attire. Let's say something like that. Anyways, this answer, the G something T something. We need an S on here. These are a type of underwear, a very like racy or sexy underwear that a woman would wear. So any idea what that may be? It doesn't offer a lot of coverage. Trying to get a picture of what this thing might be. So dun, dun, dun. So type of underwear. Kind of one of these things. Something like that. G-strings. Welcome, gypsophilia. Welcome. Exactly. G-strings. So let's put that in here. Exactly. So, so strippers or, I mean, even people, they would, this is a G-string. So where it doesn't have a lot of, specifically that like on the part that goes on the butt, it's not very wide. That is a G-string. So anyways, yes, what else we can do? One way to shop, 34 crossed, something N-E. So a way to shop. So one way to shop, a way to shop through your computer, let's say. So a way to shop through your computer or your phone, as opposed to actually going to the physical brick and mortar store, right? Yeah. So as opposed to going to the physical store, a physical store, or what we would call a brick and mortar store or shop, right? An actual physical location. But here instead, a way we could shop, maybe using our phones or our computers. Online, exactly. We're gonna shop online. Perfect. Yes. Gonna shop online. Awesome. And what else? Print supplies. 35 down. Print supplies. If you work in a printing shop. So if you work at a printing shop, or even, you know, if you I don't know, work in an office or something, but you would have the printers, right? And then there's the thing that goes into the printer that basically creates the colors. You would need a lot of those. Something. These are things printers use to put color on paper. Basically, inks. Exactly. You would need inks. So, INKS, exactly. Inks. Just to make sure. Yes, you can see. Okay. Exactly. And what else here we do? I'm gonna know this one. Party givers, 29 down. Party givers. Party givers, basically the people who organize a party. People who give or organize a party, right? The name, like as opposed to the guests, right? The guests would be the people who attend a party. And then we have a specific name for people who organize the party or sort of, sort of arrange it. And then they're kind of like the key people who sort of do it. Hosts, exactly, the hosts. They are going to host the guests. They're going to organize the party. Perfect. HOSTS. Perfect. We could also use host as a verb, to host someone, to host a party. Host someone has a little bit of a different meaning. But moving right along. I'm gonna go super soon. But here, arduous journeys. Arduous journeys. Something that is arduous is extremely difficult. So it is very difficult. So extremely difficult. And a journey is usually a very long trip, basically. So T something K S treks, exactly. A trek is also an arduous journey, usually one very difficult, often made by foot. TRE, treks, exactly. Difficult journeys often made by foot. We could also say to go trekking as well. I think it's spelled like that, to go trekking. Kind of another sort of a way to also say to go hiking, basically to go trekking, go walking around, hiking around. Time for a couple more. Let's see. Police trap. Police trap. Police might often set up these if they are trying to catch criminals in the act of doing some sort of criminal activity. I think I should double check. Just to steal something. Yeah, police action to catch criminals. Oh, in which they pretend to be criminals. But basically, yeah, so basically an operation. An operation that they use basically to trap criminals, catch them in the act. An operation to catch criminals in the act of doing crime, basically. Yeah, and maybe they will pretend that they are there, but maybe also too they just basically go in and kind of ambush criminals while they're in the act, all at the same time. So if you ambush somebody, you kind of you surprise them by sort of secretly sneaking up on them, and then you almost like you pounce or you attack them. In this case, they will sort of like hide and waiting for criminals to do things, and then they will rush in and kind of nab them. So I think that's what we're talking about here. That kind of activity where they will plan to catch criminals. That thing is known as whatever this is. A sting, exactly, a sting operation, basically. Do a sting. We're gonna like swoop in and catch them. Awesome job. Time for a couple more. 30 down, the prologue is usually something sort of like the first part of maybe a book, for example, or sort of like almost like a section that comes before a story that gives you kind of background information, maybe a section that comes at the start of a story that gives you background information, let's say, and we could call that an intro. Exactly. An intro, short for introduction. Exactly. A prologue. The opposite would be the epilogue, which would be information after the intro. Stylish, 29 across. Stylish. If you are very stylish, you probably are into all of the cool things. You probably wear lots of really nice clothing. I feel like this word, though, is kind of outdated. Like, we wouldn't say that these days. But anyways, stylish. This is an adjective that describes someone who is maybe stylish or cool or, you know, into trends. I think this word is outdated, though. So we don't really, I don't think people necessarily use this anywhere, but hip, exactly, hip here. I think hip is going to be our answer. There we go. So I'm just going to pop this in here. Supplies with turf. If you're wondering what turf is another way to refer to grass. Or lawn. So, if you ever get the, you know how sometimes you can lay, will lay grass. I'm going to show you what I mean. You can lay lawn or grass. You can buy these, go to the garden center and buy these funny little rolls of grass, and you can lay it down. This is called sod. This is sod, S-O-D. So this is sods. There you go. So I'm gonna put that in here. Ooh, let's see how much we can get done in this in the next 6 minutes. The drill part, I don't know if we're gonna know this one. Let's see, brief drop. Yeah, maybe this one, 33 across, a brief drop. So a drop as in something goes down, a drop when something goes down a bit, right? And if we're maybe talking about statistics or something, you know, if there is like, we're looking at a graph and maybe, so I have like a, here we go, I can draw. Maybe we have like a, you know, something that comes across like this and then it goes down a little bit. You know, not too much, right? But it kind of goes down a little bit. We could refer to this as whatever this answer is. So a brief drop, something, a very small drop in something, like information maybe. when talking about maybe information or data or graphs or something. Usually maybe something like that. So it's, hang on, give it a second. Starts with a D. Starts with a D. A little brief drop. It's gonna start with a D. Dun, dun. We're gonna have a D here. Just a little small drop. Have you ever had to, because I know sometimes you have to describe graphs and things like that as part of an English exam, this would be a great word to know, because sometimes there might be just like a little part of the information where like maybe like the data became less for a little bit. All right, yeah, dip, exactly, D-I-P. All right, perfect. And also just to, as a little reminder, because I know sometimes it's exciting to look and be like, oh, I know all the answers. We're going to work on this together. So try not to skip ahead. I would really appreciate that. Just so we can all do this together. But yeah. We'll get back to 25. So let's do this really quickly. I wanted actually this one, 28 down, a suit. A suit here. We are talking about cards, so about playing cards, right? So for example, hearts is one suit in a pack of playing cards, right? Diamonds as well. We're looking for the name of one of the black suits. S-P-A, something. One of the black suits in a deck of playing cards. So one of the black suits. So hearts is red. We have hearts. That's going to be a red one. Diamonds, another one. Spades, exactly. Spades, S-P-A-D-E-S, exactly. And clubs is the other one. As well, the other black suit. Clubs, if you were wondering. So awesome. Yeah, and let's talk about this now. Poseidon prop. Poseidon being a god sort of the sea, right? And a prop is kind of basically a tool, sort of, or actually we often use the word prop to describe tools and objects you would use in theater, for example. So a tool, usually something actors would use in a play, for example. They may be like sort of like fake things, a prop or something. But a tool that Poseidon is going to wield, a type of weapon, T something, I a weapon, actually. Dun, dun, dun. And get a picture. Da, 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 da. I learned a little bit about wielding weapons the other day. This stick here. So he's wielding this weapon, whatever this is going to be. 25 down. 25 down. We know it starts with a T. I guess let's just pop it in because you did say it. We just need to stay together. T-R-I-D-E-N-T. Okay, so that is a trident. And we can see the word, we can see the prefix try in here because there has three arrows on the end. But a trident, exactly. Okay. What else here? Felt toppers. This is a topper here. They're talking about a hat. A felt hat. So we have a felt hat that a man might wear. A felt hat. A felt is sort of like almost kind of like a fabric, kind of. Sort of one of these guys. You can see that it's sort of made out of a very specific type of material, so it sort of has a bit of a texture to it. So that is felt, right? We're looking for the name of this hat. F-E-D something, something, something. So F something, D something, something, something. If you're a Linux user too, I think there's like a distro or whatever that also has this name. So this will be the last one too, because I gotta go. Last one. So if you think you know what that one is, traffic marker is gonna be a cone. Drill part is gonna be a nib. Nib. Whatever this hat is called. It ends in an A. Has an A in it. Da-da. Oh, I gotta go. This is gonna be a fedora. This hat is a fedora. We have a fedora. Okay, awesome. Anyways, thanks guys for coming out. Did I spell it wrong? I did. Fedora. Oh, fedoras. There we go. Maybe. Tries out nib. Anyways. Oh, this is a bit. There we go. There we go. My bad. Okay, anyways, thanks everybody for coming out. I really appreciate it. It was so good to see you guys. I will be back next week on Wednesday at this time, 1400 UTC. Is it 1400? 1300 UTC for another crossword. So I should be back Wednesday and Friday next week for more crosswords. And I hope you guys have a really good weekend. Thanks so much, everybody. All right, I really have to run, but thanks again, everybody. I hope you all have a really good weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday. Okay, bye.